What on earth is going on, Stove Minders? It's February 20th, 2021. We are in the transition phase between the MLB offseason and preseason. Training camp's begun. Players are reporting, meaning that the top names left in free agency are on the clock to make a decision and get to camp. Tons of moves this past week, most of which were small deals, many for veterans who may or may not be washed. There were a number of contracts worth talking about. None more baffling than the Oakland Athletics giving a one-year contract with a value of $11 million to right-handed relief pitcher Trevor Rosenthal. The Oakland Athletics are the team of Moneyball, right? For over 2 decades, they have kept the payroll low, focusing on player development and using analytics to find hidden gems. The A's have done the opposite of retaining their impact players over the years, trading the likes of Josh Donaldson and Ben Zobrist in their primes. More recently, this winter, the Athletics' refusal to invest saw them lowball their longtime shortstop Marcus Semien to the tune of $2.5 million in salary on a one-year deal, albeit with $10 million deferred over a 10-year period. Semien said, "Screw you guys, I'm joining the Jays," who gave him a one-year deal worth $18 million. Then Oakland watched Tommy La Stella cross town to join the Giants, and their old closer, Liam Hendricks, one of the best in the game in high-leverage situations over the past 2 years, took big money to join the White Sox. 3 years, $54 million for Liam Hendricks. It was a robust market for closers this winter. Kirby Yates and Brad Hand were available, and so was Trevor Rosenthal, who I can finally get to. Through his first 6 seasons, Rosenthal was a successful closer for the St. Louis Cardinals, but after missing all of 2018 to old Tommy John, he had a tough time getting back on track. Rosenthal's 2019 debacle with the Nationals and Tigers resulted in an ERA over 13 in 22 appearances. He walked over 30% of batters faced. Disgusting. Rosenthal went back to his roots, born and raised in Lee's Summit, Missouri. He joined the Royals prior to 2020, pitched well enough to get traded to the Padres down the stretch. Overall, he threw more innings than his Let's Never Talk About It Again 2019, with very good results in 2020, talking about an ERA and FIP around 2, and a walk rate under 9% in 23-plus innings. Rosenthal was going to be a nice pick for whoever got him, but that was assuming he would get Kirby Yates money, which was $5.5 million for the former top closer who struggled with injuries last year. Instead, Rosenthal will make double that, more than the excellent, consistent Brad Hand got 1 year, $10.5 million from the Nationals. And the fact it's the notoriously cheap Athletics that gave him this money is unbelievable. Now, of course, there is a caveat. Okay, they're not giving him all that money up front. Rosenthal's deal is heavy on deferrals, much like Oakland's proposal to Semien. Trevor won't mind making just $3 million this upcoming season, while the A's will pay him another $3 million in 2022, regardless of where he's actually playing, and then $5 million in 2023. Not bad, especially from the perspective of a relief pitcher. It's such a volatile position in baseball. It's nice to have some level of security, even when it comes in the form of deferrals. So it's actually a pretty good deal from Rosenthal's perspective. But I don't know who's keeping the books down there in Oakland, but lay off the weed, man. There was that trade a few weeks ago when the A's dumped designated hitter Chris Davis and his near $17 million salary to the Rangers for shortstop Elvis Andrus, who's going to make $15 million a year pretty soon. That was weird. The Athletics are trying to stay competitive, recently adding depth in first baseman Mitch Moreland and a couple of relievers, Sergio Romo, and they re-signed Yusmeiro Petit. Those guys, along with Rosenthal and who else they got, make for a solid bullpen. And in a weak AL West where the Astros are the only serious competition, Oakland might again surprise everybody with their young core of Matt Chapman, who nobody talks about, an excellent baseball player, Matt Chapman, the other Matt Olson, Jesus Luzardo, Ramon Laureano, whoever else they managed to come up with. Don't doubt the A's, at least not until October when they inevitably collapse. But really strange to see them give this kind of money to this kind of player in Trevor Rosenthal. But congratulations to him. Moving on to the starting pitching market, where the New York Mets are expected to sign one of the three big arms who are left on the market. James Paxton has now since returned to Seattle, and so the Mets signed right-hander Taijuan Walker to a 2-year contract guaranteed at $20 million plus an option. For the 28-year-old former top prospect, Walker's career has not gone as planned. Mixed results early in his 20s with the Mariners. Pre-2017, he was traded to the Diamondbacks, and he went on to post the best full regular season of his career. And immediately after that, it went downhill. Arm injuries limited Taijuan to just 14 innings between 2018 and 19, and last year was split between his old team, the Mariners, where Walker looked mediocre, and the Blue Jays, with whom Taijuan was really good in 6 starts down the stretch. That makes this a recency bias influenced investment by the Mets, and a risky one at that. Hey, they said they were going to spend big money, right? Billionaire owner coming to town, Stevie Cohen. Well, the Mets tried to go after all the top free agents, ended up signing none of them. No Springer, no Bauer, nobody. Well, not necessarily. It's a strange winter in New York. From the sexting scandal around their new GM to their sugar daddy owner's connection to the whole GameStop shorting stock market shenanigans. Don't forget, though, the Mets have been busy. James McCann, that was a good signing. Probably an improvement over Wilson Ramos at the catcher position. Trevor May for the bullpen. Okay. Jonathan Villar, I like him. He will be a depth piece, but I like him. Several low-cost pitchers and glovesy outfielders. And, of course, the blockbuster trade that got the Mets superstar shortstop Francisco Lindor and upside starter Carlos Carrasco. I'd say it's been a good offseason in Queens, but their rotation has some questions. Noah Syndergaard will be out until June at the earliest, leaving Jacob deGrom, Marcus Stroman, Carlos Carrasco, and David Peterson. Mets had options for number 5 like Joey Lucchesi and Jordan Yamamoto, and that was clearly not enough for the Mets, so here they go throwing length and money at a pitcher with a dodgy health record and an inconsistent resume statistically speaking. Not saying Taijuan Walker's a bad pitcher. In fact, as the number 4 or 5 guy in this rotation, he's better than most. Whether or not he can be a difference maker, we shall see. Walker's deal leaves Jake Odorizzi as the final starter of quality to remain a free agent. Keep an eye on Odorizzi. Staying in New York City, well, the Yankees have re-signed outfielder Brett Gardner to a 1-year contract, $4 million guaranteed, plus an option. No surprises here. Even when the news was that negotiations between the Yankees and their longtime outfielder were not going well, there was a sense that Gardner, who has spent his entire 13-year career in pinstripes, who has been a big figure in the clubhouse, big personality on the field, very competitive, wasn't going anywhere. He's a mainstay with this club. And on the other hand, the Yankees could use some depth in the outfield grass, considering Aaron Judge's health history and the lack of production from their starting center fielder, Aaron Hicks. Now, Gardner himself hasn't been a great hitter lately. Since 2018, he's batted .241, but a .759 OPS, not bad. He draws walks, and in 2019, he hit 28 home runs. Not to mention the now 37-year-old likes to run the bases. I like this reunion. Adding a left-handed bat in Gardner to the mix alongside the switch-hitting Hicks. Righties Judge and Clint Frazier, who should get most of the work in left field. And Mike Tauchman and a couple of youngins rounding out the bench. Over on the bullpen market, the San Diego Padres are not done yet. That is an arms race between San Diego and Los Angeles. Well, the Padres have now added right-handed reliever Mark Melancon on a 1-year deal guaranteeing $3 million. Melancon's been around a while. 12 seasons and counting for the soon-to-be 36-year-old. In all that time, Melancon hasn't even seen the World Series, though he came close last fall with the Braves in the NLCS. So he's ring hunting. And where better to go right now than Slam Diego? Padres looking up, but their bullpen has a couple questions, like who's going to be the closer with Kirby Yates gone? Could be Emilio Pagan, could be Drew Pomeranz, or Mark Melancon. He's converted 23 of 25 save opportunities in the past 2 years with the Braves and Giants. He's been a ninth inning guy since 2011, although some of his results in that time have not been so great. Some of them have been. There were seasons where he was a leader among closers. His prime is in the past, but Melancon should play a role in the late innings of Padres game regardless of who gets the last call. And that will about wrap it up. I'm not going to go through all these goddamn minor league deals for these veterans. I'm not going to. Just go look it up yourself. Go look it up yourself, man. Baseball season's almost here. It's warming up a little bit. Days are getting longer. Let's get it.